Good evening, y'all. It's Mary. It is Sunday night, and this is Stamps-N-Lingers. We are here to make a pretty card. This is the card that I gave you a sneak peek of this morning. I don't know if y'all saw, I did two posts this morning. One with the Stamping Sunday blog hop, and then my second post with the with this pretty labels to love. It was weird, kind of, well, not weird, it was just my bad planning. I had already made this card, and then I remembered the Stamping Sunday card that I needed to do, also, by the way, using the labels to love. But it turned out pretty good because it really shows how versatile this little set is, and I like it a lot. You've got Christmas and Halloween, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Valentine's if you like, a simple made with love, and then this cool label outline that happens to match perfectly the new Everyday Label Punch. So you can actually get this label punch with the Merry Little Labels bundle, and then you can buy this Labels to Love separate, and you have two stamp sets that coordinate perfectly with the Everyday Label Punch. So there's that, just a little piece of note. So here's the card that we're going to be doing. Let me do a quick refresh to see if we've got anybody on before I mistakenly don't say anything. Hey Patricia, how are you? And Patricia from North Carolina, Pat from North Carolina, and Jean and Sue. Hey Sue, how are you? I saw I missed your call, I'm so sorry. Hey Patricia. And Patty Joe from New Jersey. Are you getting ready to get hit by Marie? I hope not. And Amy, look at you, on time. Hey Robbie, and Jean, and Karen, and Sandra. Ooh, from Australia. Hi, thank you for joining. So anyway, this is the card. I'm going to stop doing shout outs and get on with it here. This is the card. You can see it uses the Labels to Love sentiment. And then I've got some Painted Autumn DSP that is matted up on Peekaboo Peach. And on the inside I have a Painted Harvest Sunflower. This is Peekaboo Peach and Stamped Off Once Cajun Craze. That's the same color scheme as on the front. I just did one less stamp off with the Cajun Craze. So let's get to it. These are our two stamp sets, Labels to Love and Painted Harvest. Now, all of this, hi Mary and Christina and Pamela, how are you? Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that you take the time to do this on your Monday morning. Are you like at work? Okay, so these will all be on my blog post tomorrow. So you'll have all the card cuts and the product list and all of those other good things that are helpful. So this starts with the Cajun Craze card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it and folded it at 4 1/4 inches, or no, 5 1/2 inches. And then we've got a few mats out of Peekaboo Peach. Apparently not enough mats. I did not cut a second mat. I will do that shortly. But this is our normal size mat of 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'll get another one of those shortly. We've got a small piece on the front to go with our embossed panel. I've got an inner liner piece of Very Vanilla, a couple more little mats of Peekaboo Peach, and then various sizes of Painted Autumn DSP, and a piece for my envelope. Hey Karen. Uh-oh, I cannot believe it. Karen Finkel joined us while she is at Disney World. What is up with that? That is cray-cray, girl. Oh my goodness. All right, let us get going here. So obviously I also didn't cut all of this. I've been apparently distracted. Let's just say that. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So we're going to trim it down right quick so that it is 4 inches by 5 1/4, double checking that I haven't screwed that up. And we're going to just go ahead and use a little bit of Fast Fuse to put this on the Peekaboo Peach mat. Hope y'all are ready for your week. Trisha, you already have several sunflower sets. There's a lot of pretty flowers out there for sure. I just really love this one. And this is beautiful paper. There's no doubt this is beautiful paper. All right. Now we'll also go ahead and mat up the elements for the front and get them put on in their spots. All right. Now I hope y'all see I've got that super workshop open. I'm hoping you'll join in and help me get the get $1,000 workshop going, and meet a couple of other little personal sales goals for the Stampin' Up! Year that I would like to have under my belt for 2017. Is that the year? 2017. Goodness, that is crazy. Just crazy, isn't it? You know what? I'll bet it's time for me to retire. I think that must be what that realization of the date meant. So it's time for me to retire. Do I always get clean edges with my trimmer? No, not always. You know, anytime you use a trimmer that's got the little blade thingy, point thingy, occasionally you're going to find that you get some ragged edges. So one of the tools, hey Twyla and Alicia and Ann, how are y'all? Barbara. I have this from way back before I started with Stampin' Up. I have a Tim Holtz little sandpaper thingy. So if you get a little bit of a raggedy edge, you can just give it a touch up with your sander, and that smooths it right up. I have never found a trimmer of this sort with this kind of a blade with that little pointy thing there that does better. This one is the best one that I have found that's that type. Also remember, you do have to change these pretty routinely. Alright, hope that answered the question. Alright, so we have these two pieces now, and I'm going to use liquid glue so that I've got a little time and a little wiggle room, as it were. And we're going to put these on the front. Now when you see the card tomorrow, you will realize, or you may already have played with this freshly made sketches challenge. That is what this card layout comes from. So we're just going to eyeball where we want that, like so. Now I am using, because this is kind of zigzaggy paper, which is an optical illusion, I am trying to line my two mats up versus looking so much at the DSP. The problem is with that wiggly stuff is even when you have it right, your eyes will sometimes tell you it isn't. But it is. Trust the mats. If you've got the mats on, you should be good to go. Where did I get that sander? Well, it was either Amazon or Michael's. Probably Michael's, because it was right there and I could touch it and feel it and grab it and take it home with me right then. So probably a Michael's. Which means if you've got that Michael's app, you can get it for 40% off, although it wasn't even terribly expensive. Selling scoring ones too. Why would we need to replace the scoring blades? You know, I suspect they kind of wear out a little bit, Karen, but I've used this trimmer now for ever and a day, and it still scores just fine. So I suspect the sales of the scoring trimmer are significantly lower than the sales of the cutting trimmer. Just my thought. Alright, so next up, if you can see in our stack, we have an embossed panel here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the Very Vanilla to its Peekaboo Peach mat, and then I will run it through the Big Shot in my Layered Leaves Dynamic Teeth. Do you guys love these Dynamic Teeths? I just think these are the most awesomest things. The only thing I like better than this is the 6x6 Dynamic Teeth, just because it's so... How many times do you think I can say Dynamic Teeth in the next 30 seconds? Not very many more times. I'm not even going to try, because come on now. That's crazy. Alright, here we go. Anyway, I do hope you'll join my workshop. It's only for a week. There's the potential to earn some really nice thank you gifts. Take a look at my blog. All right, so what I've done is I've just matted my Very Vanilla on my Peekaboo Peach, and now I'm gonna grab Mr. Big Shot here. Mr. Big Shot. And remember, when you use the dynamic teeth, there's a couple of things that's not dynamic unique. Remember where you can feel the indentation, that's the embossed side, and it happens to coincide with the printed Stampin' Up! And Sizzix. So I just place it in there like so. When you use a dynamic teeth, you use a little different sandwich. If you've got the Big Shot platform that has the thin die adapter, obviously you take that off because you're not using thin die. But you also only use one of the acrylic cutting plates when you have the dynamic teeth. If you had a regular textured impressions embossing folder, you'd put the second mat on, or a second cutting pad on top. So we'll just run that through right quick, like a bunya. And good point, Alicia, if you happen to lose one, it is nice to be able to get another one. That is a true thing. Not that I have ever lost anything. I am way too organized, and my area is way too tidy to ever do that. Did I ever tell you I thought I'd lost a wise man from the Night of Bethlehem stamp set? And I was quite upset by that because, you know, how do you make a nativity scene for Christmas without a wise man? See how nice that embosses when you do the whole thing together? I like that quite a bit. And then I found him one day. Where was he? He wasn't on the back of the stamp set. That would have been too easy. He might have been like on the back of my trimmer. I picked it up and turned something over and boom, bada bing, there he was. Mary's blog is Stamps-N-Lingers.com. Okay, thank you, Amy. I must have missed a comment requesting such, but thank you for filling it in. So I'm going to just put this here, and I'm going to use more of the liquid glue. Alrighty, and then we're going to get busy. Well, we're going to do a little public fussy cutting, folks. Once again, I'm going to use my eyeballs to line up the mats here. Don't trust what it looks like with that diagonally stuff. Don't forget the spider. Yes, the spider. Did I ever find the spider? I think I did find. I don't even remember if I found the spider. Huh. That little dude. He was little tiny. Y'all, I don't know if you remember this. There was a Halloween stamp set with a spider, and no kidding, he was smaller than one of these graph squares on here. He was so tiny. All you had to do was look away for half a second, and he was just gone. Gone, 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 gone. Okay, next up, let's make some flowers, shall we? Let's make some flowers. All right, that's not my piece. So, I'm going to pull up a piece of scrap, Very Vanilla. And it's only scrap in that it's not the size of anything. And then we'll pull out bottom of the trimmer. See, the trimmer, you're right, Nyoka, he wasn't such a wise man hiding from me like that. He was a persnickety booger. The trimmer is a good place to start when you're looking for stamps. Okay, so the sunflower in Painted Harvest is two-step. I'm going to use my two. Y'all, is this your favorite size acrylic block? Do you have a favorite size acrylic block? I do. It's this one. On my last order, I even bought two more just so that I would have lots and lots and lots of them sitting around because you can never have too many. Alright, so to make this stamp, this flower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up the larger of the two images with Peekaboo Peach. And I'm going to stamp it once, and then I'm going to ink it again, and I'm going to turn it a little bit and stamp it twice, like so. That's why it's nice to have two, because I can leave that up, because I'm going to use him again. Then I'm going to take my Cajun Craze, and I'm going to stamp that off once, and I'm going to stamp like so. Make sure I'm still in the screen here, yeah. And then I think because I liked how the inside looked after I made this first one, I'm going to do it again. and stamp it off, and then just rotate it a little bit. It's not terribly important how far or where. You just want to rotate it a little bit, and what that does is it fills in and gives you a little fuller flower. So it's pretty all by itself, but it's beautimous when it is all filled in. So now I'm going to do public fussy cutting. Ooh, that's like public math, isn't it? Okay. So this isn't very hard. It's a little persnickety and it takes a minute, but if you hold your mouth just right, it's not too bad. Here's the tricks to fussy cutting. You'll see I'm pushed way back against well, I want to say fulcrum, but I'm not sure that's right. The fulcrum of the scissors. And when I need to turn a corner, I turn my paper, not the scissors. Also, with this kind of a flower, you don't have to get too het up. I mean, it's not a very cut and dried, black and white, easy to see an edge. So guess what? The people who see it can't really tell where it was meant to be. So if you don't get it perfect, it's okay. It's art, man. It is art. Thank you, guys. This is a good color combination. I probably saw this on Linda Reichenberg's blog. She very handily, and also it helps to occasionally cut your excess off so that you're not dealing with it. She put out a cool chart that had 2 pages worth of color combinations to make these beautiful flowers. We've pretty much agreed this is like our favorite flower ever. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So I probably saw that combination there, but it's a good one. I can tell you from experience that Peekaboo Peach and not stamped off Cajun Craze, not so great. You can just take my word for it. It wasn't great. Oh yes, so much cutting, but remember, I like the fussy cut. I do. I like the fussy cut. It's not a big thing for me. How cool would it? I don't even know how they could do a die for this flower, because we all make them so differently that it would be kind of impossible. But if you want to cut out sunflower, you got to cut out the sunflower. And I want it. By golly, I want it. Now we're going to do something when I get done here with my Peekaboo Peach Stampin' Right marker. Cut that off to make it a little easier to deal with. I'm going to take my Stampin' Right marker kind of quickly around my cut edges just to dull up that very vanilla sticking out, and it helps to kind of delineate those cuts that you've made. I mean, you went to all the trouble to cut them. It ought to be something that you can see. See, we're almost all the way around, y'all. It's just been so fast. Don't be afraid of fussy cutting, really. Fussy cutting is a great way to get extra goodness out of all of your stamps. Public math for 30 years. Okay, how do you do public math in real life? Were you a math teacher? If you were a math teacher, then bravo. If you just did public math because it was fun, okay, that's odd. But tell me, Robbie, tell me. Alright. Y'all remember, if I don't respond to a comment or a question, it's just because, well, right now I'm trying to fussy cut, but the comments scroll down off my screen and then I can't see them anymore. So I am not blowing you off. The last thing I would ever do is blow you off, I can assure you. I just didn't see it. Okay, and here we go. Almost to the end. Boom! One each fussy cut sunflower. So now I'm going to take my Stampin' Right marker like this. And I did. See, if you practice fussy cutting, it gets to be pretty quick. It's actually harder, takes a little longer to do this. But I think it's worth a little bit of effort to dull up those little edges a little bit. Got a little carried away there. That's okay. It's a very forgiving little stamp set and image because it's so kind of, I don't want to say artsy fartsy, but it is. It's kind of arty, and so it's not very difficult to make it look good without trying very hard. Which I like, because if I didn't have stamps, I'd have not an artistic bone in me, I'm pretty sure. I don't even have a decorated house because I don't really know what to do with it, so thank God for cards and stamps and ideas in the catalog and ideas in Pinterest, on Pinterest. Alright, here we go. Getting around the corner now. Alright, there we go. All the way. You can't really tell it. You're not going to be able to look at that flower and say, she went around the edges of that with her Stampin' Right marker. No, you can't tell that. That's okay. I know it, and your brain knows it, whether your brain knows that it knows it or not. Alright, so that's going to go like that. And now we're going to make some leaves, which are much quicker because they do have a stamp, and that's kind of handy. And I'm going to use my friend Julie's very, very, very favoriteest color in all the world, Lemon Lime Twist. She adores this color. I have heard rumors that she bought 17 refills of this ink so that she would never, ever, 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 ever run out. Right, Julie? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this is another two-step stamp, and I'm going to first stamp the solid image in Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to do that a few times on my piece of scrap paper, and by a few I mean 3. And then I'm going to put the veins on my block and trade out for my, as I fling my stamp set about, I'm going to trade out for the Garden Green stamp set, or ink pad. And I'm going to ink up my veins, not my veins, the leaf veins. And then we're going to put these right over the top of my Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, there we go. And put the ink pad away. You saw, I did see, you're right, Amy, I saw Lemon Lime Twist on her blog too. I think she's coming around. Hopefully she has enough ink refills that she'll never run out, because I would hate to have her devastated. She's my friend and I want her to be happy. Okay. Now we'll cut out some of these. And again, by some I mean 3. Remember, if your cardstock gets in the way, cut it off, get it out of the way. And I still didn't get it cut all the way. Alright. Here we go. So you guys, I got a little good news about the hotel in Utah. I discovered that not only do they have a refrigerator, it's a small one, but it does have a freezer. And it will supposedly hold 8 or 9 lean cuisines, which apparently the little commissary there on post has a pretty good selection of, so I might be able to stay on my diet, which is good. And I also heard that the desk is a desk and it's got a rolly out desk underneath it, so I can maybe even set up my stamping area like I do in my normal place, and so that's so happy for me. Alright, now we're going to put on the Lemon Lime Twist leaves. I always like to do a little dry fit, like so that I can see what it's going to look like. Like that. And again, remember, one of my things, I like to do this, is I like to spill off the edges of my card front. So in the course of my dry fitting, I will typically put my card front on, and then I will find my little, here they are, find my tweezers so that I can see kind of how far I can go, because I don't want to go too far, but I want to go far enough. Too far, but far enough. All Alright, we'll put a little liquid glue on there. And we'll do like so. Bring back the flower to be sure I haven't gotten too far out of whack. Alright, and then this one can go on. Now, here's a little trick. This dude, okay, you guys are murmuring amongst yourselves. That's fine. Cool. So what I have done is I've grabbed a little mini Stampin' Dimensional with my tweezers, and I'm sticking it under that leaf like that, and then pulling off the tab because he is hanging off that other panel. And so I want him to have a little support and a little bit of dimension. And I'm actually going to do that with the other one as well. So when you see the directions tomorrow, on my first one, I did this, and now you will know what I meant. So if you need to support a piece of a die cut, do it. Help it out. That'll help it get through the mail just a little better. All right, and then the last one will go on like so. Y'all, one of my friends who is also a customer, I think she's expecting a zombie apocalypse and is anticipating a worldwide shortage of Stampin' Dimensionals. Robbie, you know who you are? Alright. She orders them all the time, and that's awesome. Okay, let me see something. Yep. Now, I'm going to pop this little dude on with some regular size Stampin' Dimensionals, and then we'll make our sentiment. I love Stampin' Dimensionals probably almost as much as Robbie does. So, here we go. I'm going to put plenty on, and then I will set it aside. And we'll make a dimensional. Now I have them on the brain. We'll make a sentiment. Like, there we go. Alright. Now, I'm going to put that aside and get another little piece of cardstock somewhere to make our sentimente. Our sentimente, which is from the Labels to Love stamp set. And it is the pretty little Give Thanks one. But I am not going to use a label. I'm going to use a stitch-shaped framelit circle. Thank you, Jean. I know, if I don't have my tweezers, I'm not a very happy camper. Not a very happy camper at all. So I am inking this up in Cajun Craze and just going to stamp it in the middle of a piece of very vanilla cardstock, like so. And then I'm going to take my, it's actually the smallest of my stitch-shaped framelits, and I'm going to go off camera for 30 seconds and cut that out, okay? Hang on just a second. Murmur amongst yourselves. I know you already are. Do it more. Do it more. Our stitch-shaped sentiment. Put this back on my magnet because the only thing that walks away quicker than stamps is dies. Alright, now here we go. We're gonna do some looping. Some looping, that's a technical term. Oh, thank you, Julie. You're sweet. You really are. Okay, I'm going to put some dimensionals on here, and I'm going to take off their little caps. Their little caps. Caps off. So who would have thunk the hardest part of this card was getting the caps off the dimensionals? Who would have thunk? And then I'm going to take my copper metallic thread and just do some winding about. Not very critical, nobody cares what it really looks like. It's just supposed to kind of look willy and nilly. All right, you want it to be kind of willy and kind of nilly. And look like, you know, like, y'all know who Farrah Fawcett is, was? Yeah, her hair was willy-nilly, artfully willy-nilly, just tousled and looked like she just got out of bed, but you know for certain sure that it took her stylist several hours to make that happen. That's what you're looking for here, the Farrah Fawcett effect with metallic thread. Okay? So there's that, and I'm going to turn it over and see if I like it. I don't, so I'm going to pull it around a little bit like that. I'm going to pull it around a little bit like that. Mind me. Mind me, metallic thread. Mind me. Okay, I like that. That's perfectly imperfect, which is perfect. Alright, now using those same dimensionals, I will pop this on my card front like so. Attempting to make it be more or less straight. A little bit more than less would be good. Okay, and now I'll grab a quick length of linen thread and 2 equal sized lengths of metallic copper. Y'all talking, I'm looking, I am completely not even looking at the comments. I'm so sorry. What bad form, Mary. Bad form. Alright. Now, so I have 2, I wanted her hair too, Paula, and I have got straight hair, so straight, it is so straight, it is not funny. And it also weighs about 60 million pounds, so I could get it curled in the morning, and by the time I got to the front door, it was gone. Okay, so this is 2 pieces of copper metallic thread, and 1 piece of linen thread, and I'm just tying a double, I guess it's actually a triple bow. By the time you get 3, that would be triple, Mary. Like so. And then I will cut the tail off. I'm going to leave them kind of long because I like that. And then I'm going to put a little dab of liquid glue right about there. And on goes my bow. And then I'm setting him aside so that my liquid glue bow dries. And now I'm cutting another piece of Peekaboo Peach for my inside mat, since I neglected to do that earlier. I would say I don't know why, but it's just because I forgot. You wanted her body. Nice, Jean. Nice. All right, here we go. What we're doing is cutting a mat, so it is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I like this end better. 5 1/4. Okay. So that's our mat, and I'm just gonna get my my silicone mat out again and my inner liner, and be sure that I didn't bork up measurements, because I've never done that ever, ever, ever. And then we're gonna stamp another sunflower in Peekaboo Peach and stamped off once, Cajun Craze. Who's Mary? Ah! I'm totally confused by the comments. I feel like I've missed part of the conversation. Okay, so again, we're going to put this in the bottom corner. Where's a sticky note? I learned this one, I believe, from Nyoka last week, to put a sticky note under my mat, under my panel, so that I don't get it on my mat. The things we learn. And we'll do once. And twice. Sing it with me. 3 times a lady. Alright, and then we'll pull out our Cajun Craze and get the smaller piece again. Ink it up, stamp it off, stamp it once. That's alright. I can live with that right there. I'll get my paper towel and pick that up very gently. Don't know where that even came from. Stamp it off again, turn it a little bit, and stamp. Alright. Now I'm going to make a flower center Let me clean off my block here just a second. Oh, Mary, you know that Amy is always a troublemaker. What's so funny is she accuses me of being a troublemaker at our team meetings, which I think is the pot calling the kettle black. Just saying. All right, so this is not actually a two-step stamp, this inside part, but I'm making it one. On my first pass, I'm stamping with Lemon Lime Twist in honor of Julie. And on my second stamp, I'm going to, here's what we're making, folks, like so. I'm going to stamp in Stamped Off Once, Garden Green, and kind of turn the image a little bit. And then I'll take this little tiny image right here that is destined to be lost at any moment. This is the little image on the inside. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to do straight up Garden Green kind of around in here as little seeds. There we go. And that is the inner liner. Now, while I have my everything out, I'm going to decorate the front of my envelope. You're welcome. This is the one I've already made, so I don't need to decorate it. That would be silly, silly, silly. Okay, here we go. Make sure it's going to be where I want it. And make another flower. See, if I'm thinking good, which apparently I'm not, I would have done all of these at the same time, but that's crazy. Alright, remember, stamp it twice with Peekaboo Peach, like so. And then we're going to stamp it twice with, are you having fun, Paula? I am glad. I hope you are learning something and having fun. Okay, and then this is the Cajun Craze. We're going to stamp it off once, stamp the envelope, do it one more time, stamp it off once, turn the stamp a little bit, and stamp it again to make a Peekaboo Peach and stamped off Cajun Craze flower. And then we'll put our Lemon Lime Twist. So that was, oh, you know, I love Cajun Craze, Jean. I love it. I do. And it turns out I really love it with Lemon Lime Twist. Who knew? Who knew? Okay, and then we'll put our Stamped Off Once Garden Green on top. And then our little seedy things. They're not seedy, they're little seedy things. That's distinctly different. Okay, and there we go. And that is that. Now I'll set this aside so that I don't get things where they shouldn't be. And then, where did you go, inner liner? That's an envelope. Here we go. Okay, make sure this is the same piece. Grab our fast fuse and get it matted on its Peekaboo Peach mat. Who would have thunk that Cajun Craze and Peekaboo Peach would go together so well? But it really does. All right, now we'll put that in our card base. Which is Cajun Craze. We should try to put it right side up. I have never done that. Actually, that is a total lie. I've totally done that. In fact, I gave an anniversary card to my husband that looked like this and opened like this. It was, well, you know. Yes, of course I knew it had happened, but I ignored it. Alright, now we'll pop the card front on with Stampin' Dimensionals because everything is better with dimensionals. And then what will be left, people? Say it with me. Envelope flap, and then we'll be done. And then, you know, I'm actually getting almost out of my Painted Autumn paper, so it's about time to re-up. Hey Rosalie, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, Karen, that's sweet. I do try to take a minute. Sometimes I should take less time when I need quantity, but I just can't seem to do it. Okay, so we'll pop this on. Look how pretty peach and Cajun Craze is. Yum. All right, and there is our card. I don't know, I might trim those little tails a little bit. They're a little crazy, but I kind of like it. Okay, so there's that, and now I'm going to just put some more of the VSP on the envelope flap, and that will be it, folks. Now, just so you know, we're all working on our October card tutorial, and it uses the wonderful seasonal lantern bundle with the the lantern builder framelets. And I think we're going to have some real pretty we'll have some real pretty projects to show you in the month of October. September is still, you can still get it if you haven't ordered from me in September. You can still get it, and it is the Painted Autumn bundle, Painted Harvest stamp set, and the other things that go along with it. So that one is a very nice tutorial. So if you haven't had a chance to order and get that for yourself, hurry quick before the end of the week when September ends. There are in fact only 30 days in this month, and we are getting there rapidly. So there you go, folks. One each Thanksgiving card, which not to put too fine a point on it, I think is pretty darn pretty. I love this color combination. I love the paper with it. And of course the sunflower is hard to beat. Thank you so much, you guys. I really, really, really appreciate you spending part of your weekend with me. I know the weekend goes by fast, and that you give me 45 minutes to an hour every Sunday is awesome. So next Sunday is like this Sunday was supposed to be until it wasn't, and I will attempt to get on when I am settled in Utah and do a video. Maybe if nothing else, I'll do a quick journey around the hotel room, and you can see where I'll be spending the next month and a half. All right, thanks so much, y'all. Have a great and wonderful evening and a super week. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.